Welcome to We, the 98ers. I am your host, The Stash.
Wannabe stash.
It's Shooter. I grew my stash out too because this guy's got his stash going on, and that is Et Talk Stash, also known as The Stash. Possibly running for governor of Pasco County sometime in the near future, if there is a governor position in Pasco County. We've also got Thomas Schooley and Mark Romano with us, our unbiased announcer. And tonight was game one of the World Series in the Rays. Got a shellacking. Well, not a shellacking. I mean, 8-3. It wasn't not a shellacking. And what did we learn tonight? We learned that the Dodgers, not a bad baseball club. Pretty good squad they got over there. But we'll get into it. Stash, tell us what happened in game one, 8-3 loss for the Rays.
Well, I mean, the Rays came out and they did their job early in the first inning. First couple at bats, got guys on. Looked like they were getting to Clayton there. Looked like he was having one of his historically bad World Series outings, and I was like, hell yeah, this guy's got a 5.4 freaking ERA in the World Series. I'm like, yeah, this is what we want. We want to go and take advantage of him early, make him feel like, oh, here we go again. Just can't get it going. And then 2 on, 1 out, nothing. We get nothing, and we don't capitalize against a very, very, very good baseball team that hits very well. And that was the tone, if you ask me. That was the tone. It was a matter of time, really. And Glasnow didn't look good. I mean, he didn't look good. So those two things in combination, it was a matter of time, if you ask me, to see what happened. And I think after that 2-run homer, man, I think at that point you really got to start looking at why was there nobody up in the bullpen. You know, that's my opinion.
Wow, right to the controversy. Thomas, let's hear it from you, and then Mark.
Well, going into the game, I had seen the stat that the Rays were 8 for 51 against Kershaw, and 44 of those at-bats were from Renfroe and Margot. So most of this team had never faced him before. So that kind of bothered me there. Glasnow, when he gives up plays, he gives up home runs. And the Dodgers is a home run team. So I think that's what kind of bit us in the ass tonight. I think he was left in too long, but from what I was hearing on the radio, they were saying that the bullpen was exhausted from the 2 previous series, which we talked in the green room a little bit before. Stash doesn't like that because this is the World Series, which is true. You got to give it all. But Glasnow should have been ready to go too, and he wasn't.
Yeah, but I mean, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say I was going to agree with what you were saying earlier about the first inning. Kershaw characteristically has had slow starts in the postseason. Hasn't been the best postseason pitcher, even though he's been a great regular season pitcher. I felt like if the Rays could have put a couple of runs up in the first there, it gets back to the tone you're referring to. All of a sudden, the Rays are up 2-0 and we're off to the races. And I felt like when he kind of wiggled out of that jam and settled in, he became much more effective as time wore on. Another thing I thought was key was after the Bellinger home run, and Kiermaier comes up in the 5th and hits a solo home run. It's 2-1. And then you go to the bottom of the 5th and they give up 4 runs, which completely puts the game out of reach, I thought, at that point. It just took all the energy out of the Rays' room at that point. I mean, you cut the lead to 1, and so you're right there, and then all of a sudden you get up 4. And again, it gets back to Glasgow. Maybe got something too long. I don't know. I think they put him in there, and he had 6 walks, and we threw 112 pitches. So just not a strong outing by him. But I felt like those were really the 2 turning points. And then, of course, once the 4 runs were put up in the bottom of the 5th, and they just kind of poured it on from there. The Rays had a brief rally there late, 7th, couple of runs on the board, and they had some runners on. That hot shot that got turned into a double play.
That's bad luck.
Yeah, just a bad luck there. But at that point, it would have taken a pretty large comeback to come all the way back from the deficit that they had. So, but I'm curious. I'm just curious about you guys throwing it out to the group. Like, what do you learn from this as a Rays fan? Where do you go from here? What are your thoughts going into game 2?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question, right? Now that we've seen that game 1, now we've seen the Dodgers. Here's the thing. I was watching a lot of post game. Real quick, man, shout out to Steve Adler in the house. That's our guy at Aced Out Clothing. 98ers in the house, man. Thanks for stopping by the show. Thanks for getting us all kitted up. I don't got it on, but I don't got it out of hand. It's always right here, baby. You know what's going on. We're the 98ers. We're in the house. That being said, man, I was watching a lot of this pregame, and they don't really have the arms coming out of their rotation. So Kershaw was kind of their guy. They don't really know who number 2 is tomorrow, right? So, yeah, these guys kind of hit us up today. And I'm not going to lie. 4th, 5th inning, I'm sitting there looking at the way these guys are hitting, and I'm like, man, is this going to be a short series? Because, I was sitting there thinking that because these guys can hit for average. That's what these guys do. These guys don't just hit for power. These guys hit for average. They get on base a lot. But at the same time, man, I do believe in our pitching, and I do believe as it goes on, they're going to have a hard time keeping up with our timely hitting just as much. And if nothing else, you saw late in the game, yeah, he came on quickly and he was a little flat, but we had an opportunity when Gonzalez came on, and we did string a few hits together. And I would have personally liked to see maybe Zuni get hit there for, just because. I mean, you want a home run kind of there, but really the way he was pitching, you just want to come in there and make contact, and Zuni was definitely swinging he was looking for that home run ball, and I just think if you had somebody else come in with maybe a little bit different mentality there, maybe you string another hit together or 2, and then maybe you get into their bullpen a little bit different way. And also you're feeling a little bit better about yourself at the plate going into the next game as well. So, I mean, it's baseball. It's a game of micro decisions. You know what I mean? You can go back and analyze every single pitch, really, if you really want to in this game. I think going forward, the Rays do have a lot to be positive about, and I do think that they should. I mean, Kiermaier was 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Boom. I mean, that guy right there, he's basically one of our worst hitters, basically a defensive guy, and he's already showing that he's here to hit. So we get a couple more guys, and again, can we get G-Man Choi in the fucking lineup every goddamn night? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Cash?
Well, he was in the lineup for all of 50 seconds.
6 seconds.
Well, and that I don't mind. That I get. And Brasal came on. I love Brasal as a pinch hitter. I think he continues, again, another bright spot. Purcell continues to deliver in these situations when they bring him in.
But that was a little cat and mouse game there with Cash, though. I thought that was a pretty good thing when he put Choi in just to get them to switch pitchers and then put Purcell in. And then we saw the little rally going. And we talked about all these others. By the way, they have announced Bueller's going to be the pitcher starting tomorrow for the Dodgers. So,
good pitcher.
Yeah, I thought it was a little cat and mouse game there, and I thought, okay, we've been talking about how we need to get people on the bases, need to stop going for the long ball, and they actually were doing it. And Mark said it was kind of out of reach, but really think about it was 3-8 at that point. We had two on. Had they not got lucky and gotten that catch, we probably would have hit one more on. It would have been 4 for us with still 2 more on, and then another one at the plate, still 1 out. So it could have been a good rally going there.
Yeah, I agree. Even in the 9th inning, when they started to get kind of a rally going, 2 of those outs in the 9th inning were, pretty lucky plays. Even that last one off the pitcher's mitt, and then the guy makes the play on it. So, I mean, I'm not feeling too down just after one game, really. Especially because after Kershaw got out of the game, you saw the bats start to come alive, and it wasn't just like one guy. Like Kiermaier had a game, but you saw Wendell get a hit, you saw Yandy get on, you had a couple guys get on. So, we'll see how game 2 goes, but this is probably the best team that the Rays have faced so far, if we're going to be honest, just all around in their hitting.
And dude, how fucking good is Mookie Betts?
Yeah, insane.
I mean, come on. The one thing that I am going to love about this is that we're going to hear a lot about Boston, but only because of how much they messed up letting that guy go.
Yeah, who the hell you don't trade that guy?
Yeah. I just don't no matter where you are in your franchise, if you're Boston and you've got the money that they have, I mean, they might not be up there like they used to be with the Yankees, but they're still up there in the tops of the league.
Oh, yeah.
Money. How do you let a guy like that go?
Well, and if you're not going to pay him, who are you going to pay?
Exactly.
And then gets a 12-year contract.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
That guy's going to love it. The Dodgers are going to come back from, this style of life into back to having regular fans and a beautiful. They're going to love having that guy in the prime of his career playing baseball in LA. It's going to be beautiful. And as it sucks right now as a Rays fan going up against them in the World Series, but as a baseball fan, I'm not mad at that guy getting paid. I'm not mad at that guy going out there and living La Vida Loca in LA. You know what I mean? Baseball dreams come true. That guy's a good guy right there, So it's gonna be tough going up against him in this series, as an opponent, but it's gonna be beautiful as a fan of the game to kind of watch him play. And man, we're gonna have to figure out ways to contain him. And we'll get to we'll go back. We'll kind of mention on it before. We'll get back to Glass now because I do want to talk about that. But also, I want to talk about how they completely mishandled Mookie when he got on the bases to start that whole rally. You know what I mean? You just let him walk around the bases there. You didn't even try. I just think that it was a complete mishandle of him on the base pads, and that's what started their entire rally. So, that guy, he's the key to their entire team offensively. If you can keep him from getting on base and distracting your guys, then you're going to have a lot better chance of maintaining this lineup as a whole.
Yeah, and to your point, Stash, we talked about this in the last series too. Manufacturing runs, putting pressure on the defense, all those things that don't typically get done nowadays. And then you see it, and you're like, why don't more teams do this? Make the catcher make the throw, put the tag down, make them pull you out. And teams just don't do it. Either they just don't feel it's worth it. They don't have the guys to do it. But, man, I'll tell you what, more often than not, it creates havoc out there. And we saw it again tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that's their second double steal they've executed on the postseason.
But we get free tacos.
Yeah. Hey.
Where is that anyway? Where?
Taco Bell, Freeze Doritos, Locos Tacos.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My tweet reply to that was, in a total non-surprising heel move, Taco Bell pulls the Doritos Locos Tacos from the menu on October 27th.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully free tacos. But yeah, let's circle back around a little bit to Glass now, because I want to know what you guys feel about him getting the start. Did you guys expect it? Did you like it? I mean,
well, I liked it going in, but then I was wondering if it was a throw to the wolves against knowing that we were going against their best.
right.
You know, did Cash say, okay, we're going to lose this? Because, you know, Snell's usually his number one. So to put him not as his number one, don't know what Cash's thinking was. I mean, we had debated it last one that it could have been Glass now going first, and with him having so many days rest. But if you're putting Snell right in at second game, then why didn't you just start on game one?
Right.
But 6 walks, I mean,
that's just too many. I mean,
Glasnow is arguably their best pitcher, right? So you figure you want to go with your best out of game one, right? Then maybe that's the theory behind it,
right?
I mean,
if that's sure and absolutely, that's got to be like, hey, this is our A guy. This is. I mean, as Steve says in the comment, A+ stuff guys.
And how much how much do they trust Snell after being removed pretty early in the last start? And I don't know, maybe there's something to that as well.
I don't know. Next start, they might leave him in for like 8. You don't know what you're gonna get in the World Series.
That bullpen is very tired still, so we got to make sure that starter stays in there.
Yeah, well, I look at it this way. So's their bullpen, and so
I was kidding. I mean, the Rays are off for how many days?
3. They had 3 days, and the Dodgers had 2.
Yeah.
And they had a tight last 2 games of their series. So it wasn't like they were just able to cruise right through it. So, we definitely need him. And I mean, Snell would be going on 3 days if he went today, right? And he went on 3 days in the last series. And he didn't necessarily. Here's the difference too. Maybe Snell doesn't necessarily have his A game, and he hasn't, but he's been pitching around not having his A game very well in this postseason. And we've talked about that quite a bit on the show, actually. So that's the only thing I have. Yeah, okay, maybe Snell's coming in only on 3 days, and you have Glasnow, who had the extra rest. He did get up and work a little bit in game 7, but that's not a big deal really after the 3 days of rest. I mean, I don't know. Here we are. We talked about it. We don't question Cash, right? Like, we lose game 1, and then suddenly you never know. We could come back and win the next 4 against these guys. Our pitching could show up, shut them down, and here we go, scoring 4 runs a game off of home runs, and we win. You know what I mean?
So, yeah. Well, quick reminder: the Tampa Bay Lightning lost game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It ended up okay. They did all right. I remember that podcast that we did afterwards. We were a little worried. So I'm not too worried about the Rays. Now, if they drop tomorrow, my hand's going to be on that panic button after dropping 2 straight. But we'll see. I'll give him some time.
Well, how much does the lineup change tomorrow night with Buehler, because it's a right-hander? So you figure you'll see Choi.
Yeah, I think you go back and see
that
Game
so.
7 lineup that we saw. That Game 7 lineup against the Astros. You probably see that again tomorrow. Which
now MLB has changed it to Buehler won't be until Game 3, and tomorrow is to be determined.
Buehler.
Yeah. Harris.
Great. I wonder what that's all about.
Yeah, I don't know. They did just have it Snell versus Buehler tomorrow, and now they have Game 3 as Buehler, and tomorrow to be determined.
Man. It turns out Kershaw only pitched, like 70-something pitches, so they're just going to throw him back on there.
He's going to say he's coming back tomorrow.
Pitch a couple more. Opener.
Opener.
I mean, I don't know that you don't throw Uncle Charlie out there tomorrow, personally. If you really think about the rest and everything else, and if you didn't throw Snell in Game 1, and you really
Snell is just up next, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
that's why
I guess
Glasgow now is kind of in, right? He was the most well rested, and then Snell's. It's just next in line. I don't agree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you because Morton's been the guy in the playoffs. I'd start him this game, but just having that
then here's the
little
thing:
less rest.
if you start Morton now, who's got regular rest, really, then you have him potentially for a game 7, right? Like on regular rest again. So
Oh no, there's anybody for game 7.
yeah,
I mean,
but I'm
you
talking about
guys say
rest-wise.
Morton
I'm talking about
goes
rest-wise.
game 3 against Bueller. It's gonna have to be.
Well, see, then again, we keep forgetting that this isn't 7 days in a row either. We have regular days now
Yeah, there's some breaks.
between breaks. So even though they're not traveling, they have those days. So that does make a big difference. But yeah, well, here we are doing what we said we never do on the show, questioning Kevin Cash, right?
If you pitch Morton game 3, then you have 1, 2.
He still comes
You would
back
have
for game 4.
4, 5 days before game 7.
Yeah, he can definitely come back on 7 on regular rest, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking like 7 days
Back to
in
back
a row.
to back. Yeah.
So I guess we all have to get back to it. That's one of the things they talked about again on the pregame as well, is how the managers have to kind of go back to seeing what the guys kind of being used up a little bit in the bullpen. Now you got regular rest. So if you can save them here in the first and second games, then they really are going to be a lot better off in the second half of the series. So, or the latter 2/3 or whatever of the series. So, well, the only thing that sucks too many these 8:00 games, man, is going to make for late shows, especially when we lose.
Even seems even late.
Nobody likes to come and watch our show after losses.
Nell hasn't gone more than 5 innings since game 1 of the wild card.
Yeah, dude, the guy's ready to go right now. So that's what I'm happy about. If you really want to talk about, like, okay, maybe after tonight, I'm still happy that we have Morton ready to go 2 games in this series if it goes 7, And I think this, I was thinking it might be a short series, this, halfway through this game, but hey, when you start seeing those guys and they're impressive when they start hitting, it's hard not to really be like, man, because even more than even the Yankees or the Astros, when they started getting it together, you just feel like this Dodgers team, they feel a little bit different. I don't know about you guys. To me, they felt a lot different playing and watching them hit, and the way they, like you were saying a lot, Mark, in the last couple series, these guys didn't feel like they had the same camaraderie as the Rays did. The other 2 teams, the Dodgers have it.
Yeah,
they've been there 3 out of the last 4 years. This is a team that's like itching. They feel like they're due. They feel like this is their time.
Yeah, they're ready. I agree.
They're ready. This is going to be a very, very big uphill climb for the Rays. I think, like, mentally, like, not mentally for them, but like going against that other karma, if you will. Basically, what we just witnessed here for a hockey team in this city is almost what we're going up against in their team. Right. So we're almost to Dallas in this situation. So it's going to be interesting to see how our team can respond to that versus their team that's like, hey, this is our house, man. And it's not even like it's just been the last 3 years. Like the last 7-8 years, this Dodgers team has been really good and competitive. So,
Well, yeah, that's a good point. And I was thinking about this question from this is from Rob in the chat here. Do the Dodgers have a home field advantage since they've played a previous series at that stadium? And I don't think the Rays have ever played there at all, right? Because it's a brand new stadium.
Yeah.
True. That's got to be some sort of advantage. Like, the best team's going to win. I don't think it's going to really matter what stadium they're in, but got to have a slight kind of edge by playing more games there.
Parallel in the hockey thing, we had talked about that when the Lightning had to go and play in Edmonton for the Stanley Cup, and where the West had been playing over there and the East hadn't, and then it ended up not being any kind of advantage. I wanted to ask Stash real quick, what about the announcement of the lineups before the game where you have Sluggers and Alvarado out for this round?
I'm really interested in that.
Alvarado's got to be injured. That's got to be the only reason.
Would he be in there? That makes no sense.
Yeah. That's the only. And Slager, I kind of like where he comes from and him being the big, tall frame, but at the same time, like he's not necessarily super special. So that's not that big of a move to me, I think.
Yeah, the Sluggers I didn't think was too big. I mean, you
Yeah.
got Sharef and Phillipson, but I thought Alvarado, and I was like, the only reason he would be left off that World Series roster has got to be some kind of injury.
Yeah. And that's too bad too, because that's the fire. So, it like I said, the bigger thing is, and I mean, Steve again, it's good he's in here chatting with us after a loss because it's a little thin.
Nobody else
tonight.
does.
None of the loyal are here tonight, but I understand how it is.
Everybody went to bed.
Late night Tuesday night. I know. I almost went to bed. I'm not gonna lie. I almost went to bed. Had I not had a show to do for all of our amazing fans, I would be asleep right now. But no, I mean that's Snell has to be a little bit more aggressive and really try and get more in the strike zone, because I think that was the thing that Glasnow was having an issue with too, was that he just wasn't really, he was getting too little afraid. He was getting a little too cute and trying to paint the edges, and it was a tight strike zone again tonight as well. It was a fairly conservative strike zone. So floating Randy's, I love that.
Do we have a pandemic specialist?
Yeah, right. We do need to do a pandemic special episode. Evidently, Shooter needs to do a stash try-on episode and figure out what kind of mustache.
Yeah, look at that. Oh,
Does
there
Hitler fit him?
This is the one. This is the
You
one.
think? If only you could actually grow that mustache, then we might have a different show here. You know what
I mean,
We might
it looks like it's coming out of my nose, so it might be tough.
It looks like you're picking your nose there.
Like a Raleigh fingers.
This is actually just a mask so I can pick my nose while we're doing the show.
There you go. There you go.
What is he doing with this finger?
Guess we'll never know.
It's a good thing that mustache is there.
Anyway, that's what we talk about when the Rays lose here. Yeah, and by the way, I reset my status as the Rays version of Marty McFly. As you can see, I've started to fade away here, just in the shoulder areas. As we go deeper into these playoffs and World Series now, and we lose, I will start to disappear if the Rays do lose. And at one point, if they end up losing, I will just be a head floating around Tampa Bay. So keep an eye on that. If anything, that's a reason to tune in when we lose, huh? See, boys, you got to sell it,
man.
You got to sell it.
That is
the
quality.
mustache does do something.
That's quality programming right there. I'm telling you.
Can we end this show?
We
please?
gotta pay one. You gotta charge for it.
All right. So to wrap it up, what do we think about tomorrow, boys?
Win.
Yeah. All we got to do is win.
Win, no matter what. Play the short ball. Play the short ball and just get some hits. And hopefully Snell, I mean, we always say about Snell needs to go deep, but he doesn't go deep. Let's not talk about Lau.
He's going to be.
Why not? I mean, why not? That's all we've been hearing for 3 freaking series, right? Oh, Lau, the Rays would really like to see Lau just blah, blah, blah here.
Yeah, it hasn't happened.
He looked a little bit closer tonight. I'm not going to, but
Troy has to be in the lineup tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying, man. This comes down to the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah.
Troy has to be on first base. That's all there is to it, man. I don't care if you want Yandy in the lineup. That's fine. Put him in DH. He's great at DH. I love him at DH. The guy gets on base. But don't have him at first. We need J-Man Choi. I don't care if it's a righty or a lefty. Put that man on the fucking roster. Put him on the lineup, man. Come on.
What was tonight? No home runs? What's up with that?
I mean,
not only the bat, I think he also brings in just the excitement to the team when he does plays. When he goes down for that split to get the toss over there, I think that pumps up the team.
Yeah,
we definitely talk about that. I mean, they're talking about KK being the captain of the outfield defense, and I agree. He sets the tone out there. And even though you got Wendell on the hot corner doing his thing, night in, night out, looking like a freaking Gold Glover over there, Choi's the one that really is the captain of the infield when he's on first base. He's the one that sets the tone. He's the one that sets the the pace, if you will. I don't know how to really explain it, but he is the captain. He's the general of that infield, and when he's not out there, you can tell a difference. So you know, I think that's the key. Choi has to be in there, and Snell has to be aggressive and trust his defense. Trust his defense. If you give up solo home runs, so fucking be it. You know we can come back and hit solo home runs. If you start fucking around and get guys on base and you're giving up 2 and 3 run home runs, game over. That's all there is to it, right? So Snell has to be aggressive, trust his defense, and whoever is pitching tomorrow, the Rays have got to get on it, take advantage of the first inning, and get on the board first.
And Choi became the first position player from South Korea to be in a World Series. So good for him.
Get him in there.
Let
Let him show that stretch.
Yeah, man. Sorry when you get you on tonight, Chris. I know you're one of our loyals. You're always on, but man, after
Tomorrow,
just wrapping it up.
Yeah,
we'll be celebrating tomorrow. You can come on here and talk all the shit you want to shooty shoots and tell me how awesome I am, because you know I love that shit. That being said, man, once again, shout out to Steve for dropping by, taking the time, hooking us up with quality swag and supporting the show, man. Hopefully you have ability to kind of stop in after a win and you kind of see what it's like, a little more life in the studio and on the chats. I love that you have to write poop emoji, Chris, and you don't actually know how to use the poop emoji.
It's because Chris is using one of those like old Razor flip phones, and there's no emojis on there. He just has to write it out.
It's probably because he's driving as usual and just did a vocal tweet or a vocal text that was like and just said poop emoji. And he doesn't understand that it doesn't work that way. It doesn't then show the
or I don't think I've ever seen anyone write an emoji in the chat. I don't even think it's possible, is it?
Like write the word emoji?
Somebody put an emoji in the chat. I know there's at least somebody out there. Romano, did you give your final thoughts? Did you give your thoughts about tomorrow's game too?
My final thoughts are: I think the Rays are going to bounce back. They'll get on the board early, and if they can get 5 decent innings out of Snell, which I don't think he's going to go any further than that, regardless, let the bullpen take over. I think they tie the series up.
Got emojis. Chris just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Thank you.
Damn, I'm gonna lose my only real fan because I keep giving a hard time to Chris the last couple of shows. I'm sorry, Chris. I mean it. I'm sorry. Truly, I'm sorry. Kind of.
All right, I'm hopeful the Rays are gonna come back and win the ball game tomorrow. I mean, look who got robbed at the top of the ninth.
Chris can do the eggplant. Wasn't it Meadows? Was it Meadows who got robbed?
Yeah, Austin Meadows got robbed also. Yeah.
So I mean, they started hitting the ball later in the game, so they need to do that. I mean, I think they got to stick to the plan. Schoolie, you're saying like switch it up and manufacture some runs, but like they gotta take what got them there, right? It's these home runs. They got to start stroke them right out of the park.
Well, that's what got them in the playoffs, but that isn't what got them in the best in the AL season.
A little bit.
Well, that and the pitching and the defense too is a big part of it. So those guys got to show up, and it's going to be the hardest series they have so far. So Dodgers were hungry for it. They've been here before. We talked about it, and it's not going to be easy for the Rays, but I think they'll come back strong tomorrow and pull off the tying win here to make it 1-1. And we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah. And just before we get out of here, I was watching the pregame, and they had A-Rod, they had Big Papi, and they had the Big Hurt. And all 3 of those guys are saying that this series was a coin flip. That the only reason that you really give Dodgers the advantage here is mostly because of the payroll and because they've been here a couple times before recently. But other than that, this really is a coin flip series.
Yeah,
so you got those 3 guys.
Matter.
When you got those 3 guys who know what the fuck they're talking about, saying that this is a coin flip series, I'm good with that. Let's go. Well, let's play some.
We need the coin to land on the other side tomorrow.
That's right.
Well, everybody pull out their magnets and point them west at 8:10 or 8:07 p.m. All right, that what a show! What a show! Not bad for a World Series show after an 8-3 loss. I'll say
midnight on a Tuesday.
after midnight. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been It's pretty cringy, folks. the 98ers. Don't forget to be a 98er and raise up.
Raise up, baby.
Raise up.